This book contains the family tree of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac of Jacob of Judah and his brothers, Judah of Perez and Zerah by Tamar, Perez of Esrom, Esrom of Aram, Aram of Aminadab of Mason, Mason of Solomon of Boaz by Rahab, Boaz of Obed by Ruth, Obed of Jesse, and Jesse of David the king. David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah, Solomon of Rehoboam, Rehoboam of Abijah, Rehoboam of Abijah. Gosh, now you're making me subconscious.
Abijah.
Say it.
Abijah.
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 Say it. Alright, that's a name. Abijah of Asaph, Asaph of Josaphat, Josaphat of Joram, yeah, and then we're doing scripture commentary. The commentary is really good about this. You're gonna read now. You're making fun of it. Yep. Guest speaker, Robin Miller. Yep. Yep. You guys see the beat of it. Go ahead.
I think Eliza's reading.
You're right here. So right here.
Asaph, first reading.
And
Asaph of.
so what's your mouse when you read? You follow.
Joseph of Joram of Uzziah. You say the name. Oh, here. Jotham of Ahaz, Ahaz of Hezekiah, Hezekiah of Manasseh, Amos of.
This is just It's the second session.
Josiah of Jeconiah and his brothers, and at the time of the exile in Babylon. After the Babylonian exile, Jeconiah became the father of Salathiel, Salathiel of Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel of... What's that one?
Look it up.
Abiud of Eliakim of Atzur of Sadok of Akim of Eliud of Eliezer of Nathan of Jacob of Joseph, the husband of Mary. From whom was born Jesus. So all the generations of Abraham to David add up to 14. From David to the Babylonian exile, 14 generations. And from the Babylonian exile to Messiah, 14 generations. Apparently. In Oscar Wilde's play, The Importance of Being Earnest, the hero is asked about his family background and is forced to confess that he had lost both his parents. He had been found as a tiny baby in death. The indignation that greets his revelations is one of the most famous and funny moments in all of Wilde's work. As one of them comments, to lose one parent may be regarded as a misfortune, but to lose both looks like carelessness. Corey? My eyes don't like this. The point is, of course, that tracing one's family pedigree is regarded by many societies as enormously important. Even, it's not that, it's the black person and the white person. liberal democratic Western world where ideas of equality have long been cherished, tracing one's family roots provides a sense of identity, which may find exciting and encouraging. In many more traditional societies, such as South Africa or the Maori culture in New Zealand, family histories and family trees are a vital part of who you are. And of course, in tight-knit families and tribes that have lasted for centuries, there will be a good deal of intermarrying. Oh, so much better. So that the same person can often trace their descent several different ways. In such a world, telling the story of one's ancestry is important, a way of disclosing one's identity as producing a good curriculum vitae, which is also called a resume, is when job hunting is producing a good curriculum vitae with job hunting in the modern world. This should remind us what is going on at the beginning of Matthew's Gospel. The average modern person who thinks maybe the New Testament is puzzled to find on the very first page a long list of names he or she has never heard of. But it is important not to think that this is a waste of time. For many cultures, ancient and modern, and certainly in the Jewish world in Matthew's day, this genealogy was the equivalent of a roll of drums, a fanfare of trumpets, and a town carrier calling for attention. A town crier calling for attention. Thank you. Any first century Jew would find this family tree both impressive and compelling. Like a great procession coming down the city street, we watch the figures at the front and the ones in the middle, but all eyes are waiting for the one who comes in the position of the greatest honor, right at the Matthew has arranged these names as to make this point even clearer. Most Jews telling the story of Israel's ancestry would begin with Abraham, but only select few by the first century would trace the whole line to King David. Even Hebron would be able to continue by going on through Solomon and the other kings of Judah all the way to Israel. For most of the time after the Babylonian exile, Israel had not had a functioning monarchy. The kings and queens they had in the last 200 years before the birth of Jesus were not from David's family. Herod the Great, the old king we shall presently meet, had no royal blood and was not even fully Jewish, but was simply an opportunist military. Thank you. I saw military in my brain, but for some reason my mouth didn't. An opportunist military commander whom the Romans made into a king to further their own Middle Eastern agendas. Ooh, that sounds familiar. But there were some who knew that they were descended from the line of a true and ancient kings. Even to tell that story, to list those names was therefore making a political statement. You wouldn't want Herod's spies to overhear you boasting that you were part of the true royal family. But that's what Matthew does when Jesus is with him. And as though to emphasize that Jesus isn't just one member in an ongoing family, that actually go with the whole list, he arranges the genealogy to the whole The number 7 was and is one of the most powerful symbolic numbers, and to be born at the beginning of the 7th 7 in the sequence clearly speaks climax the whole list. This is Matthew's been waiting for 2,000. The particular markers along the way Abraham was the founding father, whom God made the promise he was given the land of Canaan, and the nations would be blessed through his family. David was the greatest king, to whom again God made promises of future lordship over the whole world. The Babylonian exile was the time when it seemed that all these promises were lost forever, drowned in the sea of Israel's sins and God's judgment. But the prophets of the exile promised that God would again restore Abraham's people and David's line. The long years that followed, during which some of the Jews had come back from Babylon, but were still living as their foreign pagan friends, was seen by many as a continuing and God to deliver Israel from sin and the judgment of God. Now is the moment, Matthew for all this to happen. The child who comes at the end of his line is God's Son, the long-awaited Messiah, to fulfill all the layers and levels of prophecy of old. But Matthew also knows that the way it has happened is very strange. He is about to tell how Mary, Jesus' mother, had become pregnant not through her fiancé Joseph, but through the Holy Spirit. So Matthew adds to his list reminders of the strange ways God works in the royal family itself. Judah treating his daughter-in-law Tamar as a prostitute, Boaz being the son of the Jericho prostitute Rahab, and David committing adultery with the wife of Uriah the Hittite. If God can work through these bizarre ways, he seems to be saying, watch what he's going to do now. Matthew's gospel has stood at the front of the New Testament since very early times. Millions of Christians have read this genealogy as the beginning of their own exploration of who Jesus was and is. Once we understand what it all means, we are ready to proceed with the story. This, Matthew is saying, is both the fulfillment of 2 millennia of God's promises and purposes, and something quite new and different. God still works like that today, keeping his promises, acting in character, and yet always ready with surprises for those who learn to trust him. Is that it? Is this done? What's up, Buckaroo? Are you ready? You okay? What?
Wait, what?
Sections.
Oh, 2
I don't want to read another one. My mouth is dry.
You made fun of me.
I didn't make fun of you. I wasn't making fun of you.
Water in that bowl.
There you go.
Yeah, just drink that.
That has paint.
Alright, I can read it. We're reading 2 sections. They requested the client package. That's what the parents. But isn't that awesome? And we always talk about what we read. Did you give like a quick? So, what is the significance of the genealogy? What's the statement it's saying? So what would happen if you were saying this and you had Herod's spies? What would Herod do? Yeah, he would be like, oh, you don't stop at me! Who's that going to Herod at? There was a madman. Oh, are you saying Robin's Herod? Oh! Don't say it. Don't fill up. Alright. Thank you. Huh? You had a question? Alright. Now we're going to read about the birth of Jesus. So what part's this?
The birth of Jesus.
This was how the birth of Jesus the Messiah took place. His mother, Mary, was engaged to Joseph, but before they came together, she turned out to be pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband-to-be, was an upright man. He didn't want to make a public example of her, so he decided to set the marriage aside privately. But while he was considering this, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared to him in a dream. Because we're starting fresh for our friend here. Joseph, son of David, the angel said, don't be afraid to get... Oh, by the way, your dad messaged me and said they can hold it back. Alright. You guys working out. Joseph, son of David, the angel said, don't be afraid to get married to Mary. The child she is bearing is from the Holy Spirit. She's going to have a son. You must give him the name Jesus. He is the one who will save his people from their sins. All this happened so that what the Lord said through the prophet might be fulfilled. Look, the virgin is pregnant and will have a son, and they shall give him the name Emmanuel, which means, in translation, God with us. When Joseph woke up from his sleep, he did what the Lord's angel had told him to. He married his wife, but he didn't have sexual relations with her until after the birth of her son, and he gave him the name Jesus. Alright, so what did Joseph find his wife to be? And what was his plan to do? No. What was his plan to do secretly? What is he planning on doing privately? Oh. So his plan was to not to bring shame to her, and actually to not get her killed, was actually to separate privately. But then the angel came by and said that the pregnancy is by the holy. The angel said that the pregnancy is by the holy. And so he took her and named the kid. But he's also called Emmanuel, which means... Actually, it means God with us. So it's that heaven and earth. You know, I was talking about how heaven is like a dimension. And earth is a dimension. Kind of like my new streaming logo. So this is Eden. So here is the earth sphere and there's the heaven sphere. So Jesus is literally walking temple. He's the walking heaven and earth dimension together. No, I'm saying that he is God. That is invaded earth. He's the heaven dimension that invaded the earth dimension. And he's bringing the kingdom. He's bringing the heaven dimension here. Alright, what part's this? Yeah, but you guys both have to say it. Right. One of the most memorable movies I've seen is the film of Charles Dickens' novel, Little Dorrit. It is actually two films, both very long. The two films don't follow in sequence, telling the first and second halves of the story. Instead, each film shows the whole drama, but from a different point of view. First, we see the action through the eyes of the hero. Then, in the second film, the same story through the eyes of the heroine. A few scenes are identical, but in the second film, we understand many things that hadn't been clear first time around, like seeing with two eyes instead of one. The double movie enables the viewer to get a sense of depth and perspective on the whole dramatic story. So you're talking about a novel, Little Dorrit, that gets put into two films, where the first film you can see through the eyes of the hero, and the second film the eyes of the heroine, so the lady who needs help too. The story of Jesus' birth in Matthew's Gospel is seen through the eyes of Joseph. So kind of like that two eyes, so like you get the movie is better when you see it through two eyes. There's a lot more things to explain, and so that's what Matthew is doing. He's letting us see it through the eyes of. What eyes of? Who is this part about? The eyes of. We're seeing it through the eyes of Joseph. The story of Jesus' birth in Matthew's Gospel is seen through the eyes of Joseph. In Luke's Gospel, we see it through Mary's. No attempt is made to bring them into line. The central fact is the same, but instead of Luke's picture of an excited Galilean girl, learning that she is to give birth to God's Messiah, Matthew shows us the more sober Joseph. Discovering that his fiancée is pregnant, the only point where the two stories come close is when the angel says to Joseph, as Gabriel said to Mary, don't be afraid. That is an important word for us too as we read the account of Jesus' birth. Fear at this point is normal. For centuries now, Many opponents of Christianity and many devout Christians themselves have felt that these stories are embarrassing and unnecessary and untrue. We know, many will say, that miracles don't happen. Remarkable healings, perhaps, there are ways of explaining it, but not babies born without human fathers. This is straining things too far. Some go further. These stories, they say, have had an unfortunate effect. They have given the impression that sex is dirty and that God doesn't want anything to do with it. They have given rise to the legend that Mary stayed a virgin forever, something the Bible never says. Indeed, here and elsewhere implies that she and Joseph lived a normal married life after Jesus' birth. This has prompted the belief that virginity is better than marriage, and so on. It is of course true that strange ideas have grown up around the story of Jesus' conception and birth, but Matthew and Luke can hardly be blamed for that. They were telling the story they believed was both true and the ultimate explanation of why Jesus was the person he was. They must have known that they were taking a risk. In the ancient pagan world, there were plenty of stories of heroes conceived by the intervention of a god, without a human father. Sterling Matthew. So you see sometimes of that in Greek mythology. You know what they call him? Demigods. No, Maui was, he was born from human parents, but his parents chucked him, and so the gods had pity on him, and then gave him a book. Have you guys ever read The Lightning Thief? So he's a demigod. His dad is Poseidon. And so, pretty much in mythology, like, all the gods have a bunch of little gods. Like a bunch of, like, demigods, half-gods. And actually, kings will call themselves also son of God, because it gave them power to enact evil on others. But then here at Jesus, he comes with a fully different story. This is entirely different. Well, Jesus comes with 100% God. That's the crazy part. It uses all the imagery of God walking among them. That's why it's called Emmanuel. Is the Yahweh, the one true God, is walking with us. This is not no half God. This is not no partial God. This is not a plethora of gods having little kids who then have a figment of divinity in them. No, he is fully divine, walking in human flesh. This is like scandalous. This is like unheard of. They must have known that they were taking a risk. In the ancient pagan world, like mythology, there were plenty of stories of heroes conceived by the intervention of a god without human father. Surely Matthew, with his very Jewish perspective on everything, would hardly invent such a thing or copy it from someone else unless he really believed it. Wouldn't it be opening Christianity to the smear of his opponent? So it would quickly suggest the obvious alternative, namely that Mary had become pregnant with some more obvious but less people on the. Well, yes it would, but that would only be relevant if nobody already knew that there had been something strange about Jesus' conception. And John's Gospel is here the echo of a time made during Jesus' lifetime. Maybe the crowd suggested Jesus' mother had been misbehaving before her marriage. It looks as though Matthew and Luke are telling the story because they know rumors have circulated and they want to set the record straight. Alternatively, people have suggested that Matthew made his story up so that it would present a fulfillment of the passage he quotes in verse 23 from Isaiah 7:14. But interestingly, there is no evidence that anyone before Matthew saw that verse as something that would have to be fulfilled by the coming Messiah. It looks rather as though he found the verse because he already knew the story, not the other way around. Everything depends, of course, on whether you believe that the living God could or would act like that. Some say he couldn't. Miracles don't happen. Others that he wouldn't. If he did that, why doesn't he intervene and stop genocide? Some say Joseph, and others at the time didn't know the scientific laws of nature the way we did, though this story gives a lie to that. Since if Joseph hadn't known how babies were normally made, he wouldn't have had a problem with Mary's unexpected pregnancy. But Matthew and Luke don't ask us to take the story all by itself. They ask us to see it in the light both of the entire history of Israel, in which God was always present and at work, often in very surprising ways, and more particularly of the subsequent story of Jesus himself, like the rest of the story and the impact of Jesus on the world and countless individuals within it ever since, make it more or less likely that he was indeed conceived by such an act. That's a question everyone must answer for themselves, but Matthew wouldn't want us to stop there. He wants to tell us more about who Jesus was and is. In a time-honored Jewish fashion, by a special name, the name Jesus was a popular boy's name, being in Hebrew the same as Joshua, who brought the Israelites into the promised land after the death of Moses. Matthew sees Jesus as the one who will now complete what the law of Moses pointed to, but could not of itself produce. He will rescue his people, not from slavery in Egypt, but from the slavery of sin. The exile they have suffered not just in Babylon, but in their own hearts and lives. So, as Moses helped the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, Matthew is saying Jesus is here to help the Israelites, and then people in the world, but the Israelites, out of slavery of sin and death. So Jesus here is helping people out of a greater exile, a greater enemy, a greater evil. Do you remember who Joshua was, right? In the Old Testament? Yeah, so after Moses led them pretty much to the desert. And they had to correct. So just as Joshua led them from the desert to Israel, now Jesus is helping us lead us out of sin and death. He will rescue people not from slavery in Egypt, but from the slavery of sin. The exile they have suffered not just in Babylon, but their own hearts and lives. History baby goo. We're almost done reading. I love that you want to bring your T-Rex out, but we're reading, so you have a choice. You want that on his lap, while I read, or go back in on his lap. What's your Ow! Just a heavy thing of water that I'm laying on my foot. Drop on your foot?
Yeah.
Good? That was painful. Oh yeah. Okay, by contrast, he will rescue people not from slavery in Egypt, but from the slavery of sin. The exile they have suffered not just in Babylon, but their own hearts and lives. By contrast, the name Emmanuel, mentioned in Isaiah 7:14-8, was not given to anyone else, perhaps because it will say more about a child than anyone would normally dare. It means God with us. Matthew's whole gospel is framed by this theme. At the very end, Jesus promises that he will be with his people to the close of the age. The two names together express the meaning of the story. God is present with his people. He doesn't intervene from a distance, but is always active, sometimes in most unexpected ways. And God's actions are aimed at rescuing people from a helpless plight, demanding that he take the initiative and do things people have regarded as, so to speak, inconceivable. Take your water. But you gotta be quiet, okay? This is the God, and this is the Jesus, whose story Matthew will now set before us. This is the God, and this is the Jesus, who comes to us still today when humans... Here we go. See how we do it. That's almost done, but I need to reset the quiet rule. This is the God, and this is the Jesus. The story of Matthew will now set before us. This is the God, and this is the Jesus, who comes to us today when human possibilities have run out, offering new and startling ways forward, in fulfillment of His promises, by His powerful love and grace. Alright, we read through it, so you guys can start.
Just wait a second. There it is.
It's right there. Oh.
There. After this loads, then I will open it when I'm together. So go into multiplayer. I'm gonna wait for it. Okay, let's go first. Now refresh it. Oh, there it is. Just join it. Double click. There you go. You're joining.
Come on!
Kids, we're choosing our controller.
Heal! This should help. This should help. Heal! Come on! Heal! This should help. This should I give up.
Potions.
Heal! 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 Come on! Heal! Come on! This should help. Come on! Come on! Heal! Heal! This should help. Come on! I give up.
Then you can play the
Come on! Come on! Heal! Come on! Heal! Come on! This should work. This should work. Come on! Come on! This should I give up.
Click on the crossing. Go into the crafting table. Right click. Click that. One down, one right. That one. Get it? And then learn pickaxe. Now you can mine diamonds. Diamonds are very good in this game. They're like the second most overpowered material in the game.
Oh, nice. Oh, man, oh my god.
It's in here.
I'm gonna get something to eat.
Guess what? Now I have 4 buried treasure maps. 4. And they all have a chance of diamonds. When you get over here, you're going to see a chest. There is nothing in it that's useful. Ah, I got up. Here, I'll give you 2 of them. And then we'll find a village and worry about that, all that later. There you go. Oh! When you're holding it, click right click. So, pull out one of them. E. Oh, thank you. Open your inventory. And then go on it.
Very well.
Bring it down to your hotbar. Okay, click.
Elijah is just darting
now-
with arrows all over his.
That is your. That's where
get
the buried
battle axe?
treasure is.
Did you get started, Madeline?
Gets all out by skelly archers. They're all over him. He's gonna go home. Skelly archers are everywhere, Mom and Dad.
This should help. This should help.
Nice. Congrats, dude.
Logan, maybe I'll put the right step though. You too. What's that? I'm the owner of KFC. You know what's cool? Find one block down the ground. Press fire again. Put it in there. If you cover up your house, the mouse can't get you, but you're still gonna get hungry.
Right. That's pretty stuff. Or guess. I got it. All right. Waiting for you. All right. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, at the time when Herod was king. Oh,
I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm getting hungry again.
okay. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, at the time when Herod was king, some wise and learned men came to Jerusalem from the east. "Where is the one," they asked, "who has been born to be king of the Jews? We have seen his star in the east, and we have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was very disturbed, and the whole of Jerusalem was as well. He called together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, and inquired from them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem of Judea," they replied, That's what it says in the prophet. You, Bethlehem, in Judea's lands, are not the least of Judah's princes. From out of you will come the ruler who will shepherd Israel, my people. Then Herod called the wise men to him in secret. He found out from them precisely when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem. Off you go, he said, and make a thorough search for the child. When you find him, report back to me so that I can come and worship him too. When they heard what the king said, they set off. There was a star, the one they had seen in the east, going ahead of them. They went and stood still over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were beside themselves with joy and excitement. They went into the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. They opened their treasure chests and gave him presents, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They were warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, so they returned to their own country by a different route. So, Jesus born? Right, I forgot to request that. Men from the east. They saw a... Right. And so they went to King Herod, and they go, hey, where is he? Where's the Messiah? And they were actually, it says they're alarmed. They were very disturbed, and the whole Jerusalem was as well. The Herod called them in secret, which is kind of suspicious, you know. He found out from them precisely when the star had appeared, and he sent them to Bethlehem. And so they were warned, they saw the child, they gave him gifts, and they were warned in the dream about Herod, right? Right, what part's this? I was convinced it was a helicopter. It was a dark night, and the bright light was shining just above the nearby town. Surely I thought the police must be out looking for a criminal, or perhaps there had been an accident. We had just come from the city, and our eyes weren't yet adjusted for the dark night time out in the country. But there, plain for all to see, was a light in the sky. A bright, almost dazzling light that could only have come, I was convinced, from a man-made searchlight attached to an airplane or a helicopter. But I was wrong. As our taxi driver took the light and pointing out to me, it was the planet Venus. It was at one of its closest points to our planet, Earth. It was hanging in the evening sky, brighter than I would have ever have imagined. My eyes were too used to the city streetlights. I had forgotten just how bright and how beautiful and evocative the night sky can be. The ancient world, innocent of streetlights, never forgot the night sky. Many people, particularly in the countries to the east of Palestine, had developed the study of the stars and the planets to a fine art, giving each one very particular meanings. They believed, after all, that the whole world was of a piece. Everything was interconnected. And when something important was happening on Earth, you could expect to see it reflected in the heaven. So, what did the ancient people believe? When something was happening on Earth, there was something also in the heavens that... Yeah, like reflected. Alternatively, a remarkable event among the stars and planets must mean they thought a remarkable event on Earth. Scholars have labored to discover what Matthew's star might have been. Halley's Comet appeared in 1211 BC, but that'll be very early for the story. Or it could have been some kind of supernova. I will request wash hands before. Cool. More likely is the fact that the planets Jupiter and Saturn were in conjunction with each other 3 times in 7 BC. Since Jupiter was the royal or kingly planet, and Saturn was sometimes thought to represent the Jews, the conclusion was obvious. A new king of the Jews was about to be born. We cannot be certain if this was why the wise and learned men came from the east, but even if it wasn't, nothing is more likely than that thoughtful astronomers or astrologers. The two went together in the ancient world. Noticing strange events in the heavens, would search their earthly counterparts. If, as it appears, they were also wealthy, they would have no major difficulty in making the journey. Matthew is not telling us all this simply to satisfy astronomical curiosity, nor is he offering us the kind of cozy, picture book story we have created for ourselves out of it. but strange but gentle Oriental kings bringing gifts to a child in a stable. Matthew says nothing about a stable. As far as we know from his gospel, Mary and Joseph were simply living in Bethlehem at the time, only moving to Nazareth later. Nor does he say the visitors were themselves royal. The overtones of the story are quite different. What he tells us is political dynamite. Jesus, Matthew is saying, is the true king of the Jews, and old Herod is the false one, usurper, and impostor. As we shall see, this Herod died soon after Jesus' birth, but his sons ruled on, and one of them, Herod Antipas, plays a significant role in the developing story of Jesus himself. The house of Herod did not take kindly to the idea of anyone else claiming to be king of the Jews. So what did the house of Herod did not take kindly to?
Being king.
Right. The arrival of the Magi. That's a word Matthew uses for them. It can refer to magicians or astrologers, or experts in interpreting dreams, portents, and other strange happenings. Introduce us to something which Matthew wants us to be clear about from the start. If Jesus is, in some sense, king of the Jews, that doesn't mean that his rule is limited to the Jewish people. At the heart of many prophecies about the coming king, the Messiah, there was predictions that his rule will bring God's justice and peace to the whole world. So what is Matthew saying? That Jesus isn't just for the Jews, but he's also for
The Gentiles.
yes, the whole world. Matthew in his gospel, Jesus is commissioning his followers to go out and make disciples from every nation. This, it seems, is the way that the prophecies of the Messiah's worldwide rule are going to come true. There are hints of the same thing at various points in the gospel, though Jesus himself did not deliberately seek out Gentiles during his ministry. But here, even when Jesus is an apparently unknown baby, there is a sign of what is to come. The gifts that the Magi brought were the sort of things that people in the ancient world would think of as appropriate presents to bring to kings or even gods. So, in the ancient world, these gifts is what people thought was appropriate to bring to kings and
Gods.
there's another way as well in which the story points ahead to the climax of the gospel. Jesus will finally come face to face with the representative of the world's greatest king, Pilate, Caesar's subordinate. Pilate will have rather different gifts to give him, though he too is warned by a dream not to do anything to him. His soldiers are the first Gentiles since the Magi that called Jesus king of the Jews. But the crown they give him is made of thorns, and his throne is a cross. At that moment, instead of a bright star, there will be an unearthly darkness, out of which we shall hear a single Gentile voice. Yes, he really was God's son. So what's interesting is Tom Wright is going way into the future. Like 30 plus years now. And saying now these guys, they gave these really good gifts, but these are the first Gentile soldiers that they're going to give him a gift of a crown of,
Thorns.
and his throne is and instead of a bright star, there will be Listen to the whole story, Matthew is saying. Think about what it meant for Jesus to be the true king of the Jews, and then come to him by whatever route you can, and with the best gifts you can find. All right? Whenever you're ready, you can start. Okay.
I got two of those. One of them happened to be two together. So I ate one of them, and then it was those are good. So I broke it in half and made it perfect. That was really good. Glad you picked up.
Finish him! Oh no, he bites Woohoo! Woohoo!
Like PvP game. That is like a building and attacking.
You
It's not. It's
You know
like
how?
the way like.
Let me explain it this way. You know how your spawn point is bed? When you make a bed, you can set your spawn point on the bed in Minecraft.
Now they have teams and your bed is like life. So if somebody breaks your bed, when you die, you don't respawn. And you have to run to the It's fun. I'll show you.
Oh, the question is, he's more than welcome to decide if he wants to do big paintball or that. So you start Roblox. And then
Heal!
I did it! It took multiple tries.
Weird stuff.
My foot! Oh, my foot! He's tiny now.
Take that!
Tiny ones. So, you need to create one. Hit sign up on the bottom.
You can remember. That's what your username?
Oh, pretty neat.
You know about it.
You gotta think creative, bud. You gotta think of something that no one's ever picked before. Finally face off against Summer. Oh, that's my dream.
What do you think?
not gonna know, dude. I mean, are you talking about paintball or Bed Wars? Are you asking about that? Or are you talking about classes of Bed Wars?
This should help. Come on! Heal! Come on! This is it! This should Come on! Nothing to it.
Like,
I don't have enough time to finish this before I start, so. Alright, I will join for one hot second on Big Paintball. I'm feeling very flexible right now. I don't know. I feel good. I completed what I was set out to do, and so I don't have enough time to do the next thing I want to do, so. So, I mean, actually, would you like me to join, Elijah? Alright, so we gotta first friend up, because you create a new account, so you're gonna have to get out of that game. Or hit Alt-Tab. I have no idea what I've gotten into. You have to hit Alt-Tab at least. So hold Alt and press Tab to switch out. There we go, and then we gotta friend up. So I gotta first find what your Roblox character's name is.
something deep.
Roblox.com. Okay, I'm here. Search. Oh my gosh. EL. I sent a friend request, but you have to accept friend request, so hit friends. Accept. Alright, it's not letting me join your game. Well, so hit home. Play. Hit open Roblox. There you go. All right, joining in. I mean, unless it's some games are free for all, some are team. The user you to enjoy has left the experience. Oh.
New for you? Okay, yep, I'm in your game.
That's weird. All right, actually, I'm going to start big paintball because for some reason I can't join you. I don't know why it won't let me join you. So.
It started. So did I. I forgot. Do you not know that you can literally hold?
It's done for me. I'm still on the start again.
My favorite gun in the game is definitely the sniper.
Gosh.
I didn't find it.
Do they fix that? I need to unplug my controller. Oh my gosh. Synchrony.
Have the eagle now. Oh, I know. Eagle now. Have the first 3 guns. Actually, I have the first 2 guns, but I got them.
Sorry, I tagged you.
Oh, he did. You. That was you. He already has 14 pounds. What? He's caught up to me and he's on my team. Yeah. What? He's using a Tesla gun gun. He's using like that solar ray gun.
Darn it.
Oh, that was me. I was so close.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait. How many guns do you have? There might be 40.
I have a few.
You can buy a few.
I mean, I have not forgot the password to my account, and I've played this game many times before.
5,000 credits exactly.
I'm taking out my Century Battle Ladder. Now I'm gonna play a second Century Battle Ladder.
Is the ray gun any good?
Yeah.
Is it?
Somebody has a slow ray gun. I think that's the top guy in our team.
Stick this sniper out for right now.
That was me. Is the one next to your door?
What are the top? Trying to think what the top paintball gun will be in this game. Yeah. Shooting Eden.
Oh my god, somebody has a super ray gun. And we felt like the ray gun.
Oh, he got me.
Tati, tagging me all.
Fine.
GG. What? Oh. I got 2 less tags than you.
I got 22 tags.
All right,
Already?
that's time, my friend.
I think she's coming around with.
All right. Well, he actually told us that. All right, friends, I'm getting off. It was awesome hanging out with y'all. Peace out.